So you want to use Gemini Notebook or NotebookLM, but don't feel like learning a brand new tool. That's okay. I'll just show you. So if we go to Gemini Notebook, we hit try, you'll end up here, or you'll click and say make a new notebook. And this is the main screen you're going to see. And the easiest thing to do is add YouTube videos. If there's a YouTube video that you want to either have the transcript from or break down or learn something from, or maybe you didn't quite get or understand something, this is what I do the most. So I'm going to take the Uberzadi presentation with Dan Fichter and Ryan Paul. It's my favorite coaching clinic video this year. And I'm just going to take the YouTube video and plop it in there. And what NotebookLM is going to do is it's going to extract the transcript and just break down what's in it. It'll give you a nice little easy summary. And now it has this as a source, as context. It has the whole video. So we can go over on the right and there's the studio. And the audio overview is kind of like a fake podcast summary between two hosts. This was what people really liked with NotebookLM and what made it very popular. I always use a mind map, so I'm just going to click the button right away and say generate. There's also slide decks. They've now added video, so both like a longer, about 5-minute video or more like a YouTube short or a TikTok. There's flashcards. You can make a quick report. Infographics are really good, quizzes, and then data tables. Same deal. We're going to just hit infographic right away. There's different styles. So again, if you want something more like Instagram ready, it'd be a square versus a portrait or a landscape. We'll do a square. There's different styles. If we want to make it look like Legos, we can. If we want to be sketched out or claymation, those are all options. The level of detail between being super detailed and intricate and nitty gritty versus kind of easy. We'll do concise for now. And let's do a sketch note. And we're gonna do an infographic. I know the presentation obviously, but now it's gonna cook. So the written content's normally quicker and easier to generate. And when it's loading, I'll say generating. The video and audio takes a bit more time because the computer's got to work. But like our mind map is usually pretty quick. You can hit the 2 arrows here to expand it out because this is kind of small and hard to see. And so it'll take the presentation, it'll break it down into the different sections, the different topics that were covered. So if we want to learn more about Jay Schrader and his system, boom, there's 4 more topics we can go into and break down. If we're really into extreme iso lunges and extreme iso push-ups and standing glute ham and we want to learn more about it, we can just literally click and it will start to pull in information from the presentation and it will give you back about it just from clicking. You can also share this. Mind maps are a little kooky in the sense that like, hey, when we expand these all the way out, that's kind of hard to see. Like nobody can really do much with this, but it is cool to zoom in and see a specific topic. And you can always move these carrots to close off if you don't want to have a giant mind map. But here we go. This is the magic of NotebookLM, is these little numbers. Because yes, it's going to give you content or a summary or snippets or whatnot, but it's always going to cite its source. So if there's a timestamp or when you upload a PDF or a book, a page mark, there's always evidence and proof of why it's giving you an answer. And so this reduces the amount of hallucinations and kind of crap AI slop that you get with a lot of other tools. But so I gave it a YouTube video. Let's say I go in and I'm going to give it my old ultimate guide on shin splints. So here we'll give it here. Again, there's a pretty, I want to say 50 sources that you can add in any given notebook. And so in this case, there's not really much overlap between their presentation and my stuff on shin splints. So I actually want to unclick the video and I only want to be doing work about the shin splints ultimate guide now. And again, I can go in and make a new infographic and I could make it professional. I can make it square. I'll make this one portrait, concise again. I'm gonna say, what's the most common reasons that runners get injured? And again, now it's gonna cook. That's it. Like this is you can keep going. So if there's a concept you don't understand or something you want to learn easier, or you want a different visual to understand material better, that's what NotebookLM is really, really good at. So we can go in and see our infographic from the old presentation, or not the old one, the Uberzadi presentation. And there's a difference here between someone just hanging out in a lunge where there's no intent behind it versus if we're actively pulling into extreme iso lunge. There's specific cues, but intent is the big difference here. Well, that's pretty important if we were doing an exercise to know how to do it right. So if there's a way that we can show this visual to someone versus they might not understand what it feels like to pull their hamstring into the ground. They don't have that proprioception. But this way we can teach it, hey, you're looking like Quasimodo? That's not how we do this. This is how we want to do a lunge, which is not quite right because the upper body needs to be straight and this has to be 90 degree, but that's nitpicking here. I'm going to pause until this infographic's done just so you get another example. But again, you can add many different sources and you can also have, okay, if I have 5 different books or 5 different videos, or there are Chrome extensions where you can download a whole YouTube channel's worth of videos. That's an easy way to distill a lot of knowledge in one place and learn from it, use it, understand things better versus just, the worst is if you read a book and if you don't understand a concept, you're kind of screwed. I mean, yes, you can go to the interviews or the internet and you can watch podcasts or videos or have someone else's take on it. But in this way, if you don't understand something, you can ask and say, okay, well, why are we doing altitude drops here? Or why is this a problem with shin splints? What can I do about it? Here's my situation. How does this fit in? And it's not going to make stuff up. It's always going to pull from the source. So here we go. Obviously, this looks familiar to me because I made it. But there's a difference between too much stress and not enough recovery. And the reason most runners get hurt, they do too much too soon, they don't recover, there's a problem with absorbing force, and there's a war going on between your shin, your anterior tib, and your calf, and they're losing it. So what you'll see with most of the generations from NotebookLM is that not everything is good. I don't think this is super valuable and this isn't super valuable, but I might like this here at the bottom left, the sleep and stress gap, or just a picture. So every generation you'll find something useful and you can take it and use it. This might be a good logo. This might be a good demonstration. It might not be a good slide, but you're not just stuck saying, oh, well, I need to just copy and paste this and put it on Twitter. No, that's not what we do. You take the good stuff and you use that and you ignore the rest. It's kind of useless sometimes. So this is NotebookLM. It's a great tool. It's with Google. It's free. The one note I'll say is that workplace accounts, like this is my Beery coaching account, don't share notebooks outside of the workplace, but a normal like Google account can. So that's one thing to look out for. But for most people, just use a normal Gmail and log in and you can make stuff and it's awesome. It's a great tool. That's why I recommend it. Yes, I use ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, but I really love this. It makes things easy to understand for people, and that's why I always recommend it.